Welcome back to WNBA Hype Hub. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our breakdowns of the hottest moments in basketball. This wasn't supposed to be a moment. It was supposed to be filler. And that's the truth nobody wants to admit. NBC didn't schedule Caitlin Clark's live appearance to shake up basketball. It wasn't hyped as historic. It wasn't framed as a takeover. It was slotted like a quick, forgettable segment. A few questions, then back to business. But the second she went live, everything changed. You could feel it immediately. The pace shifted. The room leaned in. The conversation stopped being polite. And before anyone could adjust, Caitlin Clark owned the screen. Not by shouting. Not by showing off. Not by trying to prove herself. She did it by being prepared. She broke down plays faster than anyone expected. She read defenses before the clips even finished rolling. She spoke about spacing, tempo, and decision-making like someone who already belonged there. And that's when the numbers moved. Not slowly, they skyrocketed. Live viewership surged during her segment. Social feeds erupted. Clips were being shared before the broadcast even ended. People who weren't watching moments before were suddenly glued to the screen. And that's when the discomfort began.
Say that Clark, the Indiana Fever star with an enormous following within the game, is joining the network's pregame coverage for its debut of Sunday Night Basketball this weekend when the Los Angeles Lakers play the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. The debut. They picked her to kick it off. Not, yeah, it'll do a couple weeks and then you'll come in. No. We need you to launch this thing, dude.
Because suddenly, this wasn't just a women's basketball audience. This was everyone. NBA fans, casual viewers, people who didn't even care about leagues, only moments. And Caitlin Clark had created one, effortlessly. On air, the reactions were subtle. A raised eyebrow, a half-second pause, a smile that couldn't fully hide the surprise. But behind the scenes, according to insiders, phones started buzzing instantly. Executives noticed. Producers noticed. Sponsors noticed. Players noticed. Because this wasn't just exposure, it was elevation. For years, the message to players had been the same. The league would grow together. No single name should stand above the rest. Attention would be shared evenly. But what happened live on TV shattered that idea completely.
I think Caitlin Clark actually, in fact, shouldn't have been the number one overall pick, and all of this stuff. Like, if you weren't 100% anti Caitlin Clark, there was something wrong with you. At least the general media aren't necessarily like that anymore. The WNBA media absolutely are. Like, we've still, the phrase "the Fever are better without Caitlin Clark" is one that was used by commentators. Like, to be fair, at least no one's gone full Cheryl Swoops.
Caitlin Clark wasn't just another voice on the panel. She was the centerpiece. And that's when tension surfaced, because attention is power, and power always breeds friction. Within hours, reactions started spilling out, but not as official statements or press conferences. Instead, it came in subtle ways. Silence where praise was expected, sharp remarks from corners that felt threatened, defensive energy that clashed with the moment itself.
With it. I'm good here. They go and get Caitlin Clark, making her debut as an analyst on TV. Let's take a look at the article, shall we? Caitlin Clark joined Sunday Night Basketball for 2 NBA games. Caitlin Clark is headed to the NBA, at least for a couple of nights. NBC announced Tuesday that Clark, the Indiana Fever star with an enormous following within the game, is joining the network's pregame coverage for its debut of Sunday Night Basketball this weekend when the Los Angeles Lakers play the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. The debut.
The term Caitlin effect started trending again, but now it meant something entirely different. This wasn't about ticket sales or social media buzz. This was about credibility. Once someone proves they can command a national audience live, without gimmicks, controversy, or backup, you can no longer dismiss them as just another player. And pretending otherwise? That became impossible. That's when the tension started. Not from fans. This time it came from inside the basketball world. Reports say frustration spread fast. Some players felt blindsided, others overshadowed. A few even felt exposed, because the segment didn't just elevate Caitlin Clark, it revealed who wasn't ready for that spotlight. And in this world, readiness matters. The spotlight doesn't forgive mistakes. Meanwhile, Caitlyn said nothing. No clapbacks, no interviews, no victory laps. Her silence spoke louder than any response, letting everyone else reveal their insecurities. Within days, debates ignited. Was this fair? Favoritism? A narrative pushed by NBC? But the truth was uncomfortable. NBC didn't manufacture the reaction. Viewers did. They followed engagement, clicks, retention, and the numbers were undeniable. Her segment outperformed surrounding content. Her clips outran highlights, and her analysis kept people glued to the screen. This wasn't bias. This was demand. And demand frightens those who don't control it. As Caitlyn's influence grew, another shift quietly unfolded. Fans started noticing who was missing, not just from screens, but from conversations. Certain voices faded. Certain names stopped trending. Attention doesn't wait for permission. It moves where it wants, and that unsettled league insiders. Questions emerged fast. What if coverage continues to favor her? What if fans start gravitating toward personalities instead of narratives? What if one player becomes unavoidable? Because when that happens, control slips. And in sports, control is everything. According to insiders, internal discussions became heated. Messaging was tightened. Appearances reconsidered. Language softened. But by then, the damage, or rather, the transformation, was already done. Caitlyn Clark didn't just go viral. She shifted expectations. Fans didn't want her hidden. They didn't want balance. They wanted clarity.
Aaron Boone, Yankees, America's team. The Phillies gave Clark rave reviews and even invited her to come try it for real, and now NBC is giving her that opportunity as well. She's going to be in a basketball arena, like she always is, and in her comfort zone, which is on the court talking about the sport she loves and the sport that she shines in. Of course, they're going to be breaking down what they expect these teams to do. Lakers-Knicks, I believe, is the first game. It would be nice if they kind of do like the little roles that they do on the court. Okay, I'll play LeBron James, you play Austin Reeves, you play Luka, you play...
Fans wanted the truth about who really moves the needle. And once they decide, the league doesn't get a vote. At first, the backlash was quiet. Subtle, unfollows, disengagement, comment sections turning sharp. But it didn't stay quiet for long. Soon, criticism of leadership surfaced. Accusations of mismanagement followed. Questions about priorities grew louder. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about Caitlyn Clark anymore. It was about why it took so long. Why a moment like this had to happen by accident. Why live TV had to prove what fans already knew. Why the system always seemed slow to recognize its own stars. And that's when panic set in. Leagues can survive scandals. They struggle to survive misreads, especially when the audience feels smarter than the decision makers. And that's exactly what happened here. Caitlyn Clark didn't embarrass anyone. She exposed the gap. The gap between preparation and entitlement, between relevance and routine, between those who can command attention and those who expect it. Once that gap is visible, it doesn't close quietly. NBC moved on. The broadcast ended. But the ripple didn't. Every appearance after was measured against it. Every segment without her felt flatter. Every debate circled back to the same question. Why does she feel different? The answer is simple. She treats the game like it matters. Not just the plays, not just the stats, but the presentation, the explanation, the responsibility. That's what viewers felt. That's what rattled people. Because when someone shows up fully prepared for the biggest stage, every excuse becomes obvious, and excuses don't age well. This wasn't a hostile takeover. It was an accidental one. NBC didn't open the door to chaos. But when Caitlyn Clark walked through, she didn't knock. She belonged. And that changed everything. The audience saw what's possible. They saw her command the room, translate the game, hold attention without forcing it. You can't unsee that. You can't put it back in the box. That's why this moment matters. Not for the outrage, not for the drama, but because it revealed something fragile. The old balance, the idea that exposure could be managed, attention could be rationed, stars could be contained. Caitlyn Clark didn't break the system. She showed how close it already was. And now, everyone feels it. Some are excited. Some are angry. Some are afraid.
That, again, if Caitlyn Clark doesn't play basketball this season, Caitlyn Clark will literally go. Her career will have ended at 23 years old. Which is crazy because let's be real. As relevant as Caitlyn Clark is, how many people are going to be watching Caitlyn Clark every single game in in what you call it, in Turkey? How many people are going to be watching at 2 p.m. on a Monday every single Caitlin Clark game in America? Very few, because, it clashes. And as much as people want to watch Caitlin Clark, do people want to watch, it's the relevancy is going to die.
But no one stayed indifferent. And in media, indifference is the only true enemy. This wasn't just a viral moment. It was a shift. And shifts don't ask for permission. They happen whether people are ready or not. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the hottest moments in basketball. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Caitlin Clark's rise and the WNBA's reaction? We want to hear from you.